I'm so happy to see you all. Thank you very much for joining. And I am actually, this is the favorite part of my kind of, of my job as a trainer and instructor. And the other day I was watching a new version of Karate Kid, and I have just reminded myself how much I loved that movie, back in the day when it was released. And there was a kind of one line is like kind of say like, oh, a teacher is only as good as their students. And then a kind of so really what we're going to be doing today is judging students. And I cannot tell you, like, at least how much I am proud of their achievement. And and this is really why this is the most favorite part of my job. It's just like, we put so much effort, so much time, so much energy into this master's program. And at the end of the day, it's seeing these results. uh it makes it worthwhile every minute, every second, that we have spent, and every gram of effort that we have put in. um because I have to tell you, like, I vote on I'm a judge on other color grading contests, so to say. And I enjoy doing that a lot, because this is really a place where you see, like, the best of the best, the most amazing color grading talent, submits their work, and then group of judges decides who should win, and so on. And I really enjoy that process a lot, because there's nothing I like doing more than looking at the beautiful pictures. To be honest, this is probably why I love color grading. And it's very hard for me now to distinguish between these awards where we have this established colorists from high-end post-production companies, and these, but I let you be the judge. Maybe I am biased, and I'm 100% biased. I love the work of my students. And but I will really let you be the judge. And I also would like to invite you to help me choose who is going to be the best. We want to kind of find that person. We want to decide who really performed incredibly well. And for me, the decision is absolutely not clear. I have then taken right now from all of the submissions. I have selected 19 students, and today we're going to see work of first 9. So normally in masters we work in 2 groups, so group A and group B. And that just really helps us kind of a little bit divide, the review process, because after a certain amount of reviews, you get a little fatigue of reviews, so you want to kind of start the next batch of reviews with the fresh eyes. So today we're going to present the first 9 finalists, and then the following week we're going to do another 9. Then we're going to count all the votes. And then we will meet in Miami at the O Cinema on December 3rd. And you're all invited. It's actually amazing weather in December in Miami. It's beautiful, and the cinema is gorgeous, like a little kind of as they call, colonial style, an old school independent cinema, absolutely beautiful place. And after that event, we're going to go and celebrate a little bit. There is plenty places down on the Miami beach where we can also like let our hair down a little bit as well. So what I am first of all going to do is I'm going to share now in the chat the basically the link that you guys are going to be able to use for voting. But before you start doing any voting or anything, let me just explain a little bit for those of you who are not part of the master's program. Let me just explain a little bit, what's happening, so that you really understand. I want to just give, for those who are not necessarily going through the program or not part of the master's program, to understand what is really going on. Okay. So let me explain. So master's program is now like a 9 months of education, 9 months of instruction, and it takes about a year from the beginning till the end to complete. There is a 6 months of weekly lectures and tutorials that cover everything from complete induction, features, commercials, HDR, look design, then look development and so on. So and then at the end of it, all students have to submit 2 things. Number 1, they have to submit their thesis, and those theses are absolutely mind-blowing, especially in this cohort. I can't wait. We're going to publish those in December after the ceremony. And then also they have to submit their final work, final look design. So think about this assignment as something like basically what I'm asking myself when I'm reviewing these assignments is, would I hire this person to color grade my movie? This is effectively what these assignments are all about. It is about how strategic, how somebody is thinking about the look or looks in a way. You'll see like it's just absolutely amazing. How they are adapting the look to the story, how they're also presenting themselves, and ultimately what look they create, and what elements of that look are there, that are effectively elevating the story. Okay, so and elevating means to be in the right point, in the right kind of golden, square of the look design. What it means is that you can't do too little or you can't do too much, right? This is also very interesting kind of thing with color grading, is like color grading can be also too much, right? And also can be too little, right? So you have to be at the right point where the color is this invisible force that elevates the story, but it doesn't become a story itself. And we also value, apart from that, we value, apart from that very much artistic and creative aspect of color grading, we value also the technical promise of the colorist, how they master their technical tools in order to deliver the best possible image quality, because ultimately we're after the best image quality. And very important to us, at least at our master's program, is that colorists are not just treating images a color itself, like RGB color, but that they're heavily involved in a texturing process of image as well. And so we combine all of this. So it's basically the artistic side. Then there is this kind of the whole aesthetic, which is part of that, right? Then there is a technical ability to deliver an image which is far beyond just RGB color matching. And also what I value a lot, what is very important to me, and what most colorists actually kind of oversee, it's how they present themselves, and whether a presentation of their work is helping them win the work. Because this is sometimes overlooked. You think like, oh, all I have to do is just know how to color grade pictures beautifully. That was absolutely true back in the day when you were working at the large facilities where there was a team of producers and marketing people that were selling you. But this industry has separated itself to a very small amount of facilities that still operate like this, and a much larger majority of portion of freelance colorists who have to do that part of marketing and selling themselves. It's part of their job as well, and this is also what we value. Okay, so I want to now, without further ado, present you with the first group of finalists who have successfully managed to get into the finals, the first group of finalists. This is the first 9. And we're going to go one after another and review their work. This is also a great moment for you to, if you want to, when we start reviewing, if you want to click on the link. Did I post the link already, Luis? It's there, right? Excellent. Excellent. Very good. So you can kind of, open a link if you want in the background, and then, just go through it, and then, decide as I'm basically presenting you with assignments, you please, go ahead and vote between 2 and 10. There is no one. You can't give the worst notes. So just so you know, I'm taking that away from you. So it's minimum 2. And 10 is if you think like that they are really the best. Basically, these are the finalists. So we have Ryan Lee for The Seas Between Us, Mohamed Zeini for Equal Ground, Dave Smith for The Game Changer, Eyal Brosh for Slay, Bernardo Fonseca for Fatal Kair, Alex Schead for The Ever After, Nadina Kosinac for The See-Through, Rodrigo Perez for Aloha Love, and Juan Martínez for Sabo Still Standing Still. This is the first group. Next week, we're going to go and carry on with the second group. Okay, so without further ado, let me start with Ryan. Ryan basically has worked on a movie called, or short called, The Seas Between Us. Okay. And actually, I think this is a feature. It's not a short, and it's very interesting. It's a really, really interesting. And I believe that he has, revisited this project after the Masters, with a completely new approach. Oh, it's a short film, yeah. And it's a very interesting. It's like a movie about a girl, like we'll see, that lives on an island in Caribbean, and then she meets her relative from India, and then she starts just kind of opening her mind, to this completely new world. And the look for this film was inspired by actually an amazing film. I love, like that he dug out. I really value this when students also are choosing references that are unusual. There is so much beautiful cinema out there, that is kind of forgotten. And if you know what I mean, like, I find it so boring, when people are always referencing I don't know, Joker, or whatever, Blade Runner, right? It's like, oh my God, I really, I cannot stand this anymore. But, when you kind of go in and you find this, gems of cinema that look just absolutely amazing, and they're actually incredible stories. And kind of this story is also very much related to, it has some sort of weight and relationship with the story of his movie. So, it kind of just feels like a really right. Okay, so basically, in the mid 60s, a young girl who has never seen anything but Trinidad. That's it. She has opened her eyes to the world when her auntie from India comes to visit. Okay, so and I kind of already like I'm already engaged. I'm feeling like okay, this is a great story. So these are the references that he used, and I want you to really pay attention a little bit to them, because I think it's a classic kind of I call it classic film look, because you can see that this was kind of done in a less, and probably not in the DI era of film, potentially, like the grading is kind of looks more like a kind of printer style type of grading. You see like this kind of night shots, and you see these looks, they kind of have like a generally kind of more like a look of a cast, and you let kind of the film print do a lot of color separation and contrast. But the references themselves are just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, like it's just so beautifully shot movie, and I love the richness of color and separation. So like when you pick a movie like this, well, you have to really know what you're doing to deliver this, especially on your short movie that you're grading, there is nowhere near as amount of lights and amount of production value as you're using in a references like this. So this is the original stills from the movie, like what they shot, and actually it looks pretty good. I have to tell you, like this is really beautifully shot. I mean, like yes, you can tell it's mainly natural light, so there is not a lot of like kind of, but it looks really nicely lensed. It looks like a really so the material he's working with is actually pretty good, I have to say. Like so this is kind of I think he has a very good base to start with. And so then let's see like basically Lucilla. It's gorgeous, a lot of like mediums close-ups, kind of on a long lens. I really like it. I really like it. And the girl, actually the main protagonist, really loves the camera. Okay, so let's see now. So the thought process. So this was set in the 60s, and the Mississippi Masala was set in 91 and tells the story of an Indian family expelled from Uganda, who kind of settle in Mississippi. And then he says, color in any film acts as unseen character. It develops and changes over time with a narrative. And this document shows how we intend to treat the narrative color. I love it. Okay, so basically the mystery part. And you see, this is again what I absolutely love. This is that maturity level that very few colorists out there reach, but this is just really, what for me is just, sign of somebody. Personally, I if I would be a director, I would love to work with colorists who understand the arc of the story, understand the narrative, and are crafting the color to support the narrative. And I remember when Josh Pines came, one day to my house and brought like a lots of like a little books of scripts of a movie, and then told me, okay, now open this and open, let's say, page so and so, and we would open what's happening. I say, this is happening. Okay, then he would take another script and say, open a similar page number. What's happening? I say, it's happening. And then actually, what he did is he kind of taught me that every film, is no no matter what's happening in it, has always got the very fixed principles of an arc of the story and what's happening at certain moment of the film. And we learned that, of course, in our master's class. But I really, have to say, for me, that was a really an eye-opening moment, because I never quite understood that actually there is a general rule and general practice how you do that and how you write scripts. And the same thing is like as if you were to be a music composer and you were then to write the music for each part of those, very strictly defined moments in a film. As a colorist, you're writing a color design, color look that is supporting that part. And when a colorist approaches color grade like that, that's a kind of another level of maturity. That's really, you have somebody on the team who is supporting your effort, supporting your story. It's not just a button pusher and someone who understands how to operate DaVinci Resolve. So basically, mystery. This is the opening scene, right? Somebody arrives, right? And look how beautifully, he kind of, has great. He let the night hide the detail, and he chose also very good references. But it's incredible how close he got between his reference and his source. It's just like when you actually look at them on a screen, it's hardly it's almost impossible to say which one is which, right? It's almost impossible to say which one is basically reference and which one is source. It's kind of they really blend, right? Also, I love that he shared with us a little bit his note tree. I won't go through this now. I haven't got the time to do this, but I love the fact, he has basically, this is very, I love this approach. What he has the two sets of windows. He has a Windows before IDT and a Windows post IDT. And this is very important when you're working on jobs that not using a lot of lights and a lot of lighting. This is really how you as a colorist reshape the light, before it gets into IDT, so that you prepare it for your actual image pipeline, your show lot. and then you're using your post IDT windows to kind of just refine it. It's just like you see the amount of detail, the amount of attention that he's paying to that kind of relighting, and that is visible in a shot. You see how he carefully crafts every element of the shot, how, and also, like, I love the detail that he puts in a shadow. Yes, it's dark. Yes, it's night, but I can see every pixel in a shadow. I can see everything. And you know what? This is the magic of color grading, where you can actually take audience into the night, let them feel that it's night, but yet they see everything. This is like kind of the most common mistake I feel from I find from many colorists that haven't gone through like a proper training and understanding of that process. Then we're moving into the gift of friendship, right? So now the girl meets her auntie, and so Ryan is moving now into much warmer, much happier, much open looks, and look at how beautiful. And like, again, he's using great source of reference. He's not sticking to it 100%. He's adapting it to his story, and I just love the tonality in here. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. He shares with us his note tree as well. Then, then the girl is like now like has a moment of that's another chapter in the story. He calls it a river dreaming, playful, innocent, warm. And what I really like here, what he did is the work with texture. Like, it's on a first sight not necessary in your face, and it should be like that, but actually all highlight is slightly diffused. Everything has a little kind of there's a little kind of glow effect or something and this is where colorist works with texture, not just with color, to enhance the story. Why? Is because now this girl is kind of daydreaming. She's in this kind of gorgeous world that this toy that she got, the puppet she got, is kind of getting her into. And it's just, look how gorgeous he kind of blooms these highlights, and I'm not sure exactly what he does it, but you see, like, there is no harsh lights in it. Everything has a certain element of softness. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Then the auntie's meeting the family. I mean, pay attention to these skin tones. This was shot on a digital camera, and pay attention to the amount of grain he put in there. I mean, you would be really hard to believe that this was not shot on film. Like, like, if you see the texture in it, if you see the skin tone, if you see all of this, you'd be really hard to go, you would have to like look twice and go like, what was this digital? What is this? I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Then, then it's a part of the bonding and discovery. Again, gorgeous. Look how he pays attention again to the auntie skin. Look how he lights auntie. She has like the prominent light. She's the hero. Like, you see how the ratio between the girl and auntie is adjusted so that the audience understands who's like the star in this particular frame. I absolutely love this understanding. Then he goes for these gorgeous visuals. I mean, look at these greens, look at these purples. Like, it's just absolutely sunsets. Like, he's really like going for it. And then we have these night shots. Again, I love this aesthetic. I love this aesthetic of kind of, printer light style grading, where you're kind of, putting this Hollywood kind of bluish filters. I love that. There is something really about it. We know all that the night doesn't look like it, but we just love that. I'm absolutely in absolute awe with his work. Again, look at the glows, look at the highlights, absolutely beautiful. Again, now, talking about the technical, Ryan also provides us with a full stress test. He says, this is kind of, I'm applying Schoeletz, but you know what? I'm not ruining your image. I have a, very particular way how this is working. I'm testing the gamut. I'm testing the basically what's happening with my mid-gray especially. So So me as a cinematographer, I would feel comfortable working with Ryan because whatever I'm doing in terms of the exposure on set, I know I have a colorist who tracks this, who controls the exposure, who's managing the mid gray for me. And, of course, there is a large balance, in there to warm it up, probably. Like, this is why we can see that the blue is lower because he's trying to kind of, fix the white balance of the shot. And then you see like some neutral, some warm, and so on. Every part, every look, has got a certain kind of, he provided us with a technical analysis as well. So absolutely amazing work, Ryan. Thank you so much. Guys, feel free to give your vote and your number to the Ryan on the voting chart. And I am now moving to our next student. All right, so the next one comes from Mohamed, okay? And this is like a kind of, for me, like, this is another kind of sign of the times, like you think about it, right? This is basically, the reality of today's world, okay? And I'll explain in a minute. So, Mohamed did a project called Equal Ground that was directed by Brad Day. It's an encounter between a group of young men and women. Tension escalate from the disagreement and confrontation. And as emotions boil over, the conflict spirals into fierce clash that leaves both sides exhausted, yet no lives are lost. A raw exploration of pride, miscommunication, and high cost unresolved tension. Okay? The reference he chose is the movie Twilight of the Warriors. Again, I love Muhammad's choice. Muhammad just didn't pick an obvious fucking blockbuster thing. He dug into the cinema and he found a movie that is visually a feast, yet probably just very few of us. I would have never watched this movie, but now that I see the way how it looks, I'm gonna go and watch it. I have this list, on my phone where I keep the list of movies I want to watch. And you know what? Twilight of the Warriors is on my list now because of the Muhammad. Thank you very much, Muhammad, for making me, pay attention to this absolutely beautiful movie. And I mean, and when I look at these visuals, I was like, wow, what is that? Okay. And you see, I would say the reference is half of the job, probably, right? Choosing the right reference or like a being, like no, look, where you get your inspiration from is so important. And I love when my students are film lovers. They are not just kind of, like some kind of, chasing another big job. They love cinema. They understand cinema. They appreciate cinema. I thank you so much, Mohammed, for picking such a beautiful. And then when I came to this part, this is where I had to stop because I was going like, what is going on here? Because to me, I really wasn't able to properly distinguish between the references and his grades. I mean, look at these guys. Look at it. Equal ground, Twilight. Equal ground, Twilight. Equal ground, Twilight. I would happily intercut these two. I would easily be able to cut between two movies and not be able to say I'm watching two of them. I mean, you know what? How did he manage to get this red camera to look? I was like gobsmacked. And this is the moment where kind of something dawned on me, which is just unbelievable, which is very, very specific to the time we live in. This was never the case, guys. This is very particular to the 2020s, like for this era, right? And I think, this is and not one of the reasons why Hollywood's struggling, right? Maybe 10 years ago, if you wanted to get your movie Equal Ground to look anywhere near to this movie like Twilight, there was probably 3 places in the world where you could get this level of service and level of image quality. Los Angeles, New York, and London. And yes, I'm not saying there were always talented people in other places, but this is where you would have to go to. You would have to get on the plane, book yourself in a session with somebody at Company 3, at Technicolor, at, Deluxe, and all these places, and you would sit with a colorist who would be able, with a team of, people behind them, to deliver you this picture quality, you know? But, the secret is out. I now go to Egypt, to Muhammad, to get these results. And now we're living in an era where you, as a director, when somebody asks you, hey, where did you color grade your film? It looks amazing. You say, oh, in Egypt. And you're like, what? Yes, I grade all my movies in Egypt, in Cairo, with Muhammad. And it's just insane. This is the kind of adjustment we have to make in our head. There is no more necessity to be in a center, and the media centers that we used to have them were important because the talent was congregating there. But now talent can be anywhere. People are just, capable of producing, the same quality result in Santa Monica or in Cairo, right? It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter, right? Recently, I was in Mexico City. Do you know what? I can walk into the camera rental company in Mexico City and get exactly to the point, same camera package that I can get in Burbank. There is absolutely no difference. And the skill of camera technicians and operators is exactly the same, except the Mexicans a little bit friendlier, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there is no need for studios anymore to bring all the work to Hollywood, or bring all the work to London, or bring all the work to New York like they used to, because that was where they had the talent. Now, studios can go to Cairo as well and grade with Mohammed and get this image quality. I think this is just, let it sink in. Let it just understand in what amazing time we live in right now. Look at this. Look at these things. Unbelievable. I love the fact that he kind of show us here. Look at the nights. This is so dark. Look how he kind of used that kind of, level of light. Unbelievable. Look at the skin here. You kidding me? This is red? Wow. Wow. Look at these close-ups, Unbelievable. And then, look at these lights. Muhammad, this is just, you know what? You have elevated this movie. Look at the RAW files. I'm just always love to go back to RAW, right? This is the RAW, and this is the kind of greatest stuff. Look at the grittiness of the texture here. You know how he plays with lights. Look at the skin tones. Oh, man. Muhammad, you're unbelievable. This is, to me, like, this is the last place in the world I would expect I would be able to find a colorist. And you know what? This is why I love, the fact that we moved our color grading school online. I had, students from Albania, Azerbaijan. Like every semester I get somebody from a country, where I have to go and open it and find it on a map. Where is this place, And it's just absolutely amazing how it's now possible, to get these things anywhere in the world. If you guys love Muhammad's work, and if you think he did an amazing job, go ahead and click on the score on our scorecard for Muhammad. Well done. Well done. Well done. Absolutely great job. Number 3, Dave Smith. Okay, with Dave, we're going in a slightly different area. Yes, Dave is not doing a film, he's doing a commercial. Of course, we have commercials. Let's not forget about it. Commercials are also a big and important part of our job. It's bread and butter. Really, it is. You will be doing features, but all the time in between is going to be filled with commercials. And, as a colorist, an independent colorist, do not neglect commercial clients. That's all I can say. All right. Very interesting what he did here. Okay. So what Dave did was he basically created a concept. So, you know what's really funny? This was never really shot. He used stock library kind of as a pitch. And I mean, guys, I'm gonna play you the whole because it's commercial. I can play you the whole, commercial itself. I mean, this is like I was like, what is this? Okay, so he has envisioned this as a full cinematic commercial charting Sia Colisi. And this is a very famous, player, rugby player or American football player. The project was involved into stylized mood film shaped by the practical realities of using stock footage. While the story remains rooted in Kosi's journey from township, to lifting the Rugby World Cup, the piece now focuses on evoking emotion through tone, rhythm, and color. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. It's like they're already teasing me. I'm like, okay, what is this, Dave? What is this? So what really Dave does, he uses as a references really good looking commercials. Again, this is just wonderful. Like that, if you're going to be a commercial colorist, you have to stay on top of it. What's happening in this world? You need to know, what do top commercials look like? How do top brands work? Because if there is anywhere a fashionable kind of, a change and kind of flow in terms of the looks, and it's in commercials. I mean, from year to year, from season to season, commercials are changing their favorite look. They are going through phases like, oh, now we love this, now we love that, now this is popular, now this. I mean, it's just incredible, like, like how creative directors are changing their tastes and adapting them to, time or whatever. I don't know what influenced them exactly, but so yes, Dave is going and looking at some of the big commercials and going like, okay, I'm going to make my look like that. Again, unbelievable. Look at these grades. Look how beautifully he crafts these images based on its references. Now, of course, Dave's not just, going like and saying like, oh, I'm going to make it look exactly like that. No, he's just borrowing the visual elements and taking them. Then he's using the movie City of God for part, where we're talking about the township, right? And yes, it's a completely different part of the world, but the aesthetic of City of God is so relevant, to kind of showing this favela, the old world, like look at it, absolutely beautiful. Look how he kind of ages the shots, how they look like a little bit retro. They have some sort. I mean, look at the kind of little glow and filter. Again, amount of texture work he's putting in, absolutely insane. Again, he's not afraid to go dark. He's not afraid to go dark. But why? Because we can see in that darkness. Thank you. We love it. We love it. And then the scenes, from the from the fight and so on. Let me actually just guys play you quickly his commercial because it's only like a 40 seconds, and I think let the pictures talk. I'm just gonna shut up for the moment, and I'm just gonna go and play it for you a little bit, so you can get the idea to what he created.
It's one of those things where I come from. I never dream of being stream or captain.
Now, here comes the question. Would you work with Dave on your commercial? I would. If I was to get this as a treatment, I'd be like, you know what? We're not shooting the bloody thing. Let's buy the rights for the stock footage and release the thing now. The commercial is not done. I mean, if this is a treatment, how's the final thing going to look like? What? Wow. Wow. I mean, is there any question, who would you hire to work with You know, like if you get the treatment like this, if you get, I mean, this is just insane. Dave, I applaud. Absolutely amazing. And guys, please click on your score, what you think Dave has earned for his work. Absolutely amazing. Always happy to see great commercials. Now I'm moving in a different, again, completely different. Don't you love this? You know, that we have this variety of things. And this is a gentleman called Eyal Brosh, who, did something which I think it's so important for the current era. And I really want you all to pay attention to this. What he did, he worked on animation. So the animation actually that he is working on, it was created in Unreal Engine. But like very, easily you could actually now create that same level of animation using some AI tools as well. And one thing that all of those animations and these AI tools have is that they have this, they just look like animations. I don't know. That's the best way how to say it. They just look boring, and I don't know. They miss that touch that we want. So clearly, what Eyal tried to do is try to overcome that limitation. And if there is kind of anywhere a better example to what textures do to an image, then it's this work, and it's absolutely amazing what he did. So he used, interestingly, for the reference, a movie Shogun. Again, thank you, Eyal, for choosing incredible references, for exploring the beauty of cinema and going and finding such a great sources. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, look at the quality of these references. I mean, this is just to cry. I mean, this looks like painted. You know, I mean, this movie, every frame looks unbelievable. Like so yes, Al, you set yourself a bar so high. You were like there, man. You're like, it's a little too high. Okay. And then watch this. So this is actually an animation. But look at the amount of texture. I know, and we are on Zoom, but I'll find a way how to share these things with you, hopefully. I mean, this is just amazing, the glows, the halos, like everything that he applied. I mean, like, and that's really where the level of realism comes. We can see it now in the progress. So this is just a standard out of Unreal Engine, Rec 709. Then he kind of crafted a lot. And that's pretty much where everybody stops. This is like what 99% of all these in-game videos that you see or kind of game commercials that you see or something like that stop. They kind of do this lot kind of process where kind of say, oh, let me just make a film lot on top of it and then we do it, right? But no, Eyal goes further and then he crafts all this texture. So look at this, look how now he adds grain. Look how there is this level of diffusion, the softness, everything I'm kind of, so much talking about, so much trying to explain. So now look at the difference. This and this. I mean, if there is anywhere a better example to show what is necessary and what is missing in animation or AI generated videos, then is this frame, is this, screenshot this and send it to all your buddies who are like, now creating all these AI videos and just tell them, dude, this is really what you need. You need me to grade your stuff like this, buddy, before you kind of, start getting your AI movies out, I can't believe people just render it out, they edit it the way it is, and they just blast it out instead of taking, these images and lifting on another level by working with texture and working with a colorist who knows what they're doing, right? Look at this. Again, you see, it's heavy on the grain, heavy, I love it. Look how he introduced, look how the glow, like absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the close up. Look how much glow is in there, like how it looks kind of I mean, if you think about it, look, this is what he started with, you know, and it does look like, you know, it's computer generated, I'm afraid. But now, you know, he brought all this volume inside. Look how this blue light, you know, disperses in you know, like the air has got weight because he's using, again, a beautiful thing for inspiration, right? This shot as well. Look at the amount of grain, you know. Yes, it's heavy, but it's amazing. I absolutely love it. Eyal, look at these things. Look at these things. I mean, you know, he's really, really, oh, look at this. He's elevating it on a completely new level. On a completely new level. This is not just this computer animation. This is now a cinematic piece. It is giving it, look at that. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What an amazing work. What an amazing effort. And I really hope that people he worked with, the people that, you know, made this animation are kind of conscious of it, are aware of it, you know, that from the audience perspective, you know, very quickly they will be looking at these images and they won't be necessarily thinking I'm seeing an animation. You know, they will be so much drawn to that whole kind of visual thing. And then yes, he stress tests it. Lens effect, lens textures, show LUTs, unbelievable. And I love this. Look, he's using EXR cryptomat. So, I mean, check this out. This is like, what is going on here? So what he did, he opened the XR files that had all these different mats, you know, and then, you know, and then basically like separated them and used them as a mats in grading. I love it. I didn't know that you can do this actually, like in on a fusion side. I think we don't have time to go through this, but technically, this is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, you know, look, he's kind of, you know, applying lens effects and camera shakes and lens distortions. And, you know, he's working in JPlog 2, of course, you know, of course he does. You know, he's going like 709 by ACES, you know, absolutely amazing, you know, absolutely amazing. I mean, the complexity is just insane. It's just insane. I have to say, this is like you know, a class in, you know, what future of color grading of animation or animating all this AI thing that are just, you know, getting more and more popular is all about. You know, if there is one thing, then, you know, Eyal has showed us this. Eyal, fantastic work, mate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really, really love it. It must have been a huge effort to do this as well. I can only imagine. Looks absolutely incredible. Guys, please score, give Al your score. And this is, you know, you see why it's so hard? You see why it's so hard for me to choose who's really good and who's going to win? I mean, you know, we're now on number 5 and every single one of them was absolutely amazing, you know? Okay. Bernardo Fonseca is doing a documentary. So number 5, Bernardo Fonseca, Path Higher. Okay. Now look, documentaries are again a very big and important part of our job. Okay, documentaries are, as you know, you have a large group of people who subscribe to Netflix or Amazon or Apple just to watch documentaries. You have platforms that have nothing else but the documentaries. You have to understand that the audience that actually wants to come home and not watch a feature film, but actually watch a documentary is huge. Is huge. People love to watch good documentaries. There's not, you know, like this is there's no doubt about it. You know, this is like, you know, podcasts, right? You know, people love to listen to podcasts. You know, when somebody comes, people love to watch docus. Okay, and then docus always suffered from the problem that, like they were, because they are shot in a moment, there is no place for them to set the lights and say, okay, whale, can you please wait for the moment when I put my lights and adjust my exposure, then you can jump out of the ocean. you know everything's shot in a moment. There is no a lot of time to set lights, to say this, it's run and gun, not always stabilized. You know what I mean? Like you get hours and hours of capture that you have to cut into now from different days, lighting scenarios. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, the grading dock was is just, like a rescue mission sometimes, right? But when you look at the documentary and you start seeing cinematic quality in it, regardless of that kind of, roughness of the source material, then you really have to start admiring. And that's really done by colorist. And it's another kind of thing that I like to kind of point out to documentary filmmakers that I meet sometimes, where I tell them, you guys are so worried about editing and going out to a festival, that you just really forget about how important the process of color grading is going to be to make this images, actually, to make this documentary look like really really good documentary. Because I think the audiences don't want to just have pictures put together. I mean, they have this on YouTube, that's okay. What they want is, they want to, even though they watch documentary, they want some level of cinematic experience. And top documentary makers are doing that. Actually, I have been working, almost 15, 20 years ago on BBC documentaries that had a very clear mission to be cinematic experiences. I mean, I graded documentaries for IMAX cinemas, right? The Blue Planet. When I remember when we worked on Blue Planet, there was the first show that was completely shot on red camera, for only one reason, that we can actually make it look so cinematic that it can be sold for cinemas. But that level of image quality was just very important. Okay, so let's see what Bernardo did here. Okay, so he picked these references. I think this is a movie. I think it's called The Deep Blue. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, the palettes are just gorgeous. Um, it's just really really beautiful. So watch this. So this is a typical drone shot. I have to laugh because there's always a drone shot. There is not a documentary without a drone. Let me get that clear, right? Okay. And then he builds a show lot, which does a lot. I mean, look how he pulls out, the sky. Look what he does with the water. Look at this gorgeous steel, right? But then he works with texture. And while this still has this kind of sharpness of that small DJI sensor, which is this size, right? This feels completely different. I mean, look at the depth. Look at the what he did. Like, look how perceptually horizon feels so far behind in comparison to the boat. The boat is almost in your face, in your lap, and horizon feels like far, far, far out. Texture work. Yes, unbelievable. And 99% of normal audience is never going to be able to appreciate this. They will probably going to say, oh, well, it's beautiful looking documentary. But they don't understand that them viewing images like this or images like this emotionally gives them completely different reaction. And that's why I'm so adamant, guys, you got to know how to grade properly. You got to know how to use texture. 3D cube, absolutely wonderful. He protects the highlight. That's what I can see. And he kind of, keeps a little bit of pedestal as well. I love that. That's kind of, the thing that probably had to do because the source was like 7.9 or something, Oh, he's using Ari as an output format. I mean, look at this, guys. This is just insane. You go like, is this really like documentary? Look at these things. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Look how this looks. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. It gets this majestic feel that the source want. I mean, look at the 709, how blown out everything is here. Like the sail is kind of gone, right? This is what normally you would go to see on a documentary, something like this, right? Oh my God, look at that. Look at the feel in it, and look at the level of saturation, Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then the underwater. I want to just show you this. Look at that. Unbelievable. The skin tones. And look how he beautifully, grades the underwater shots. Look how he gets the coral reef to bring the redness in there, which is obviously nowhere there. I mean, look at the Senna 9. There is no color of coral. It's not there. Oh my God, massive roll of, to protect. Because again, it was probably some Senna 9 camera, so he's trying to kind of, protect it. I love it. I love it. I mean, look at the difference, this and this. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, guys, if you think that all documentaries should look like this, and what Bernardo is doing here is doing a great job, then please go ahead and give him his score, and let's see. I think Bernardo deserves an incredible high score from all of us for this work. Absolutely great. So if I was to go and say, hey, would I hire Bernardo to grade my documentary? I'd say absolutely yes. I would have no doubt about it. Okay, now we're moving on to Alex. Alex has graded basically a movie. I think I think he actually it's called The Ever After, and it was a regrade. This is what a lot of colorists that go through masters do. They kind of finish masters, and then they go back to a project that they did earlier, and now with the new skills, new eyes, they're going to say, hey, let's go and grade this again, right? So let's see what Alex did. The Ever After. So he got he got some references. I'm not sure exactly what they are, and I do kind of recognize some of the actors and some of the movie, but I'm not sure what they are. Anyway, and then he goes for it. Okay, so basically Rex and a 9. Shola does already a very good job, but then look how he brings back the detail using the texture. Look how he brings back, you see how kind of Charlotte flattens everything, right? And look at it now. Like now we start seeing, look at the sharpness in the eyes, the gloss of the skin. So he's using the texture in the opposite direction. She's going like, no, I'm not killing the detail. I'm elevating detail. And so bringing audience to focus on the right part of an image, which is her eyes. We want to see that kind of expression in there. You see, like here, you would hardly like look at her eyes, but now I'm but it's not the window, it's not the brightness, it's pure work with the texture. I absolutely love it. I love it. Look at it. Look how he with the gloss in her eyes. Look at this as well. I mean, unbelievable what he does with the skin. Look how close he gets to the skin. How, I mean, it's just insane. Look at it. When I look at the Rex and the 9, I almost feel worried. I'm worried. If I was to get the movie that's shot like this and I see this as Senna 9, I'd be worried. And then look where he ends up. The amount of contrast it puts in is almost like a complete relight. These people would have had to have like a massive, like a source of light to get this kind of level of contrast. Like here, you see, someone's got a spotlight on her face, and Alex is cheating all of that. Unbelievable. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. I mean, where is drama in this shot? Hello, what's going on? This she should be worried. Now look at this one. Look how he created window to kind of hide, to just give her like a little like a gobo light on her face. He fakes gobo. I love it. I love it. I love I mean, look at the eyes and look at he kind of oh my god. Again, this shot unbelievable. He kills that yellowness in the background completely, like, this kind of white balance error. Look at it. It's clean, it's white, Ah, unbelievable. So you know what? I don't know. I don't know if director of this film has seen the regrade, but if he did or she did, they probably would say like, "Oh man, we have to release it again." I would. I would happily re-release my movie if I was to see it with a new grade. I mean, think about movie Seven. How many times they released that movie with a new grade? Unbelievable. Like the difference between where he starts and where he finishes is just amazing. But what's most important, he supports the story. Now the atmosphere and the feeling and overall, drama that is necessary to be told in the story is there. Look how he enhances the detail in the skin. So he's working in the right direction. Texture is not just take the detail out. Texture is, yes, let me put the detail back in where it's missing in order to drive the audience attention to the right part of the screen. Look at this. Look at this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Absolutely amazing work. Amazing. Shot in some Canon, man. Fucking unbelievable. Right? Again, he's using JP Log 2. Yeah. Oh, wow. And look, lens operations, glow, grain, print. Oh my God. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And you know what? This is why you need to have a technical background, because with that you understand how you give yourself the flexibility to do with an image what he's doing, because he has to reinvent the image. And when you work in a space like JP Log 2, you can do that. You can move image in extreme direction without breaking. You know, absolutely amazing. Guys, please open your voting sheets. If you think Alex deserves a really good note from you for his work, please do so. Now we're going to Nadina Kosinac. Okay, she directed it even, and it's called See Through. So what it is, it's a story of a young woman who finds herself in an interrogation room being questioned about an incident that she doesn't remember. And while the police officers seem to have all the proof of her guilty, a strange feeling makes them want to believe her words. And as interrogation progresses, they learn the truth behind the protagonist's actions and her dark past that has shaped her to be who she is right now. It's an independent short film created in 2024 by Slovenian production company Abrams Productions. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Oh my God, Nadina, from Slovenia. Let's see. It's another place where you're going to go and grade your movies. Not just Cairo. You're going to go to Ljubljana in Slovenia, or Kranj. I think where she was. No, she was Krško. Yeah, that's where she was from. Absolutely amazing. Where you grade a movie in Krško? What did you say, Krško? All right, sorry, I have to go. Look strategy. The film maintains a dark, moody base across all scenes. The color shift between cold and intense, overpowering red. So she's using red when, strange things happen. Red is a visual anchor. Scenes are happening in real time, are dark and moody. Flashback scenes are dark and nostalgic. So so she has different looks, Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so she's driving audience in the right directions. Look at these references. Not sure exactly what they are. Oh yes, I think this is this the Neon Demon or something? Unbelievable. Oh my God, this is so gorgeous. I love it. Okay, let's go. 709. Yeah, I think this is what normally TV dramas look like, right? This is what you normally see on TV and go like, oh, this is my regular TV drama shot, right? Or like this, yeah. But then look what she does. I mean, again, like, look at the detail on this face. Look how she shapes this light. Look at the glow in this light. Look at the windows. Look how she brings the contrast in. I mean, just guys, like, let's kind of, just look at it. Okay, even let's do show that and this, and then compare it with the reference. I could really, again, intercut. I wouldn't have a problem because it's not just about color, it's about the whole image quality, right? Gorgeous. Look at it. Look at the skin. Unbelievable. All right, now we're going into these nightclub scenes. Great reference, Nadina, by the way. I can see totally how you follow. Look at the amount of, now you see here, she works different with the texture. It's softer, it's grainier, it's grungier. Yeah. Wow, look at these reds. I mean, it started like this, like where she ended up, how she tamed it down. Yes, well done, Nadina. Well done. Keep it red, but let's not hurt. Ah, what a beautiful thing. Look at these shots. I mean, look where she started from. Unbelievable. Beautiful. The darkness. Let's see, she was working on the with the look designer F1 contrast and excellent, some relight, glows, lots of windows. Not really complicated if you think about it. Then she has a grain at the end, and then she has a little sharpen as well. And then she's using film grain. Beautiful, right? Negative stock, she's using 5219, makes sense, but subtractive is doing the work as well. And then she's printing to 2393, contrast with a old school, very beautiful, very nice. Nadina, I applaud. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Technically, perfectly done. The use of textures is just great, especially how you drive them from, different scenes using different textures, different fields. Absolutely great. Please, guys, open your voting, document sheets and score what you think Nadina deserves. Okay, Rodrigo, um, uh, uh, like I had also a little document, that he supplied, with, where he explained, he was pitching for this job. It's a commercial, for, Hawaiian, a company called Aloha Care. And interestingly, he said, "Oh, we were the most expensive, but they still chose us because, again, the way how he pitched it." Why I really love his work here is you see, like, okay, it's a perfect example to see how your pitching and your presentation of your work is important for you to win a work. As simple as that. So it wasn't about the price. Even though he was most expensive, they still chose to work with him because they saw, like, the depth of, an amount of detail that he's going through, right? The second, these kind of medical services commercials, they have to look real. It's real people doing real work. It's not like there is no models, there is no beautifying. And there is a very particular style of these commercials that, on American TV, it's like a lot. And it's really interesting, like, how he managed to take this realism, right, but still, like, build, some sort of specific look into it that makes them stand out. Because effectively, what he did, he really, like, and I know it's very hard for you to understand this, but think about it. If you watch TV and there is this commercial, that commercial for this medical service, and they all look pretty much the same. They look like Seno 9-ish, right? And then you have Rodrigo's grade. It looks different and people pay attention. And what we want from commercial, we want people to pay attention. Right? So yes, I'm actually not surprised that he won it because, ultimately he's making commercial work better, right? you know so this was a pitch where he supplies his two looks, right? So this is the 709, what they shot. And then, this is his look. And you see, it's this kind of fine balance between over stylized yet still kind of real people, what they call in advertising, right? I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is what you normally see, just a little bit brighter version of this. No, like, like almost like this, this is what we would normally see. But, this is what he went for. And look, I mean, look at it. Look at the 709. Look where he's at. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely nice. And again, it's like you can't push too hard, but you still have to make it look stylish. It's again, that golden, middle, call it whatever, where you're not like overtaking it and you're not doing too little. You just find yourself in that perfect spot where your color just gives the perfect look. Lots of sky replacement, right? Excellent. Excellent. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much, Rodrigo. I love it. It was a great example. Please, guys, go ahead and do Rodrigo. I might actually post a link to the finished commercial as well because it's commercial. We can see it.
At Aloha Care, love for our community is woven into the fabric of our culture. By giving our kupuna easy access to healthcare, we make sure they can continue sharing the wisdom that shapes us all. We are always here for you, lending a caring hand when you need it most. Together with our local partners, we give back to the community that has given us so much, making sure our members get the kind of support they need when they need it. Every day, we walk alongside our ohana, sharing what we have and showing up with heart. We celebrate the vibrant, diverse culture we're a part of and nurture our future generations while keeping Native Hawaiian healing practices accessible. Aloha Care is driven by a genuine love for our community, offering Quest Medicaid and Medicare plans with personalized support to meet your needs. Together, we're working to build a healthier, stronger Hawaii. Aloha Care, your health in caring hands.
This is Juan Pablo Martínez, and it's called Sieba Burns Standing Still. I am absolutely in love with this project as well. Again, he goes for really interesting references. So it's Taste of Cherry, Beast of No Nation, absolutely amazing. Well, guys, if you love Idris Elba, you must see this film. This is the one of the best Idris Elba movies ever. End of Watch as well, like a really, really interesting film, with Jay Gyllenhaal. I love this film as well. The references are so good, so gritty. So let's see, he starts with Rexona 9. This is where he ends up with the Sholat. And then, that's what he puts in a little bit with the texture. I think in this shot, probably because we see like a lot of sky, we're not able to do it. But look at it here. So this is where he's at, not doing too hard. Again, here the Sholat's killing it a little bit, the skin. He brings it all beautifully down, right? The texture is not too heavy. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's just amazing. Where they started from and where they end up with. Again, I love it. Again, he's not trying to impose himself on the look. He's supporting it. He's giving it just enough attention that it needs. It doesn't need to be reinvented. It's in the camera, and just doing enough is perfect. I love this. I love this. This is kind of, when you have mature colorists who don't grade with their ego, but they grade for the project. They're not there to say, oh, look at my color. They're there to support the project and to just give you enough to help your story. Absolutely beautiful. This is his note tree. What he did, you see here, he's basically overlaying black and white to create this kind of bleach bypassy look. So you see he's splitting the luminance and chrominance and using that trick to give it that gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, kind of bleach bypassy look. So instead of controlling it like a saturation, he's controlling it as a bleach bypass. And he's, of course, softening it a little bit because must have been shown on some sort of Sony's or whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, it's super sharp. I mean, look, you can see every single leaf. And now here he's just kind of kills that a little bit. I love it, but not like, a lot. I mean, he's just kind of, helping it, like removes just the edge, as he says, right? Love it. Love it. So you see, basically he does edge detection and he removes the sharpness using the edge detection. Interesting approach. I really, really like it. I really love it. And then you see he does then basically on some mid-tone detail, some exposure, some curves, and then here on the post he does again he blends lumachroma. He loves that. Seems that this blending lumachroma is really big. He's using a reversal. Yeah, that's right, on Actor and Look Designer. And then he has a halation. This is the bleach bypass part, and a DCTL, which is the halation. Yeah, absolute. I mean, this is the grade, right? Wow, wow, unbelievable. Well done, Juan. Well done. Okay, guys. Okay, so that was basically the first 9. Next week, we're going to go through another 9. If you start scoring, you have to score all of them. So just remind ourselves, Ryan Lee, Mohamed Zeini, Dave Smith, Eyal Brosh, Bernardo Fonseca, Alex Schead, Nadina Kosinac, Rodrigo Perez, and Juan Martínez. Basically, this is the first 9 finalists. I want to thank you all. By the way, you're invited and you're encouraged to spread the voting chart with amongst your friends, followers, and everybody else. We do want to cast as many votes as possible. We want to really get sample kind of I just really want to understand what people and how people see these grades. And also just to help us get to some sort of point where because for me, like, you're all on the top, and it's impossible for me to decide which one's better than the other. I love them all. So yeah, please go ahead and help us come to that place. Anne says, the looks were submitted for today. Are they available to download offline and score them? Yes, you're going to be able to watch the video. I don't think I can provide them as a download. Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being part of this program. Thank you to all these amazing students and amazing work. And I have to tell you, the next 9 are incredible. Okay, I don't want to say better words. You're going to decide it. But the next 9 are, wow, mind-blowing. So don't miss next Friday. I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you all. Have a great time. See you soon. Bye. Take care.